Hi kids, it's Gustav for the English division here with another video for Montessori preschool. Now, last time we talked about spring and about all the different types of weather that we can see during spring, like rain, storms, clouds which create rain, as well as clear weather. This time, I want to talk about all the different kinds of plants that you could see outside during the spring, some of the stuff that shows up, as well as one kind of animal that also shows up during the spring. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is the word grow. Grow. What does grow mean? Well, grow is what we call when something that's very small gets big. You see right here? It's gotten bigger. We can talk about plants like this, okay? They can grow into a tree, okay? So this is how a small little seed can grow into a tree. You guys remember tree? I hope so. But also, even you and me can grow. So you maybe are right here, okay? But at some point, you were definitely a baby. And as time goes on, you will grow older and older and older. So, for example, you are right here, maybe right here, and I'm right around here. Not quite here yet. So this is what the word grow means, okay? Grow. 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 So why am I talking about the word grow? Well, a lot of different plants grow during the spring. Maybe have you been outside yet? And you've seen that trees are starting to grow leaves. And what is a leaf? This is a leaf. This right here is what we call a leaf. Plants use it to get energy from the sun. But that's not so important. What's important is that when you look outside right now, you can see a lot of leaves are growing on trees. Okay? So this is what we call a leaf. A leaf. A leaf. Also, you may have noticed that there are some colorful things growing outside. What am I talking about? Oh, I'm talking about flowers, of course. I've already been outside and I've seen some flowers. Not many. I think it's a little early, but soon there will be flowers everywhere. So this is what we call a flower. This is a flower. A flower. What color is the flower? That's right, it's pink. This is pink. And what color is the leaf? That's right, it's green. If you said pink or green, you're correct. Good job. Well, all flowers and all leaves have to grow from somewhere. Okay? They don't just start as a flower or start as a leaf, do they? No. They start out as what we call a bud. A bud. So you can see this bud right here, it looks like a flower bud. So it'll eventually turn into something like this, a flower. Okay? But leaves can also start out as buds. Maybe a week or two ago, you went outside and you looked at some trees that were starting to grow leaves. Well, if you looked closely, you would have seen that they were growing something that looks similar to this. Either one we call a bud. A bud. A bud. Okay, but what about the trees themselves? What do we call a baby tree that is just starting to grow? We call it a sapling. Okay, so this sapling right here, you can see, will eventually turn into a small tree, and it'll eventually turn into a big tree. Okay, so saplings are what grow into trees. Okay, we call this a sapling. A sapling. A sapling. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is something that some of you may find icky, or gross. What do we call them? We call them bugs. Now, bugs are really starting to show up during spring. Now that it's warmer, or maybe even hot, the bugs are starting to come out. I see all kinds of bugs in my apartment or right outside my window. So, all of these, these are all things that we call bugs. So these are bugs. 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 Can you name any of the bugs that are in this picture right here? We've already talked about some of them. Maybe you recognize this one. What's this? That's right. It's a butterfly. This is what we call a butterfly. Look how pretty those wings are. What about this right here? Do any of you guys know what this is? That's right. It's a bee. This is what we call a bee. Bee. They produce lots of honey, but they also have a stinger on the back here, so be careful, because sometimes they can hurt you. Okay, well, how about this red and black spotted bug we have right here? Do any of you guys know what this is? Some of you are even called this in your class at school in Montessori. That's right. We call this a ladybug. This is a ladybug. A ladybug. They're starting to appear right now as well. Okay, for this next bug, we have to look over here. Okay, we have to look at this picture. This next bug is right here. Do you know what we call this bug? If you answered an ant, you're right. Good job. This is what we call an ant. They like to work together. So they work in big groups, just like the bees actually. Okay? So this is what we call an ant. An ant. An ant. Okay, how about this jumping bug right here? This green bug right here. Also, I think you could see it right here. Right there. Do you guys know what this bug is called? As you can see, it's jumping. Jumping up and down. Well, we call it a grasshopper. Okay? This is a grasshopper. You could tell it's a grasshopper because it's got these big back legs. Okay? It uses those legs to jump in the air. Okay? This is what we call a grasshopper. Okay, and the final bug for today is right here. Do you guys know what this is? As you could see, he's hanging from a web that's above him. That's right. We call this a spider. This is a spider. A spider. You may even have seen some in your house. As you can see, they can spin webs that they use to catch a lot of the other bugs that we have here. This is what we call a spider. Okay, kids, this video is already turning into a little bit of a long one, okay? So I think we're going to stop here, okay? But try to remember all the things that we learned in this video today, okay? So we talked about grow, okay? And all the plants that grow during the spring, like leaves and flowers, and how they grow from buds into leaves and flowers, as well as saplings, which eventually grow into trees, right? And we also talked about all kinds of different bugs that also like to start showing up during the spring, okay? So we talked about butterflies, we talked about bees, we talked about ladybugs, we talked about ants, grasshoppers, and finally spiders, okay? So I think that's enough for today, don't you guys think? So I hope you guys have a nice May Day weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.